Easter. Happy Easter. If you went to church, good for you. Give your praise, all of that good stuff. I had a great Easter celebration last night. Whole family came out. It was a really fun time. But we're going to be showing today a little bit of the stark differences between Trump and Biden, because Biden has declared today, not Easter, but Transgender Visibility Day. I don't know why he chose this day. Actually, you know what? If I put my tinfoil hat on, I can think of a reason why you are choosing to have that visibility day on the day of the Lord Jesus Christ. I can think of a few reasons why you would do that. One in particular, Cat Williams touched on it a while ago with Joe Rogan, talking about Baphomet. But let's just get into what Biden decided to do on this day, what Trump was doing on this day. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about what Biden has been up to and what Trump has been up to, because a lot of people have been talking about Stephen A. Smith, Brett Weinstein. So many people have been bringing up, oh, I wish Trump was just more presidential. I wish he was just doing more presidential things. And you know what? Here it is. Here it really is. Because if you're saying that you wish he would do more presidential things, you're saying that Biden is more presidential. And, you know, we're just going to be showing some stuff today. Let's start with the first clip.
White House. Now to this. Critics say Biden and the woke mob are taking a swipe at Christians this Easter. This year, Easter Sunday falls on Transgender Visibility Day, which is traditionally on March 31st. But this year, not only did Fairfax County, Virginia, make an official proclamation for Easter Sunday, so did President Biden. Biden was the first president ever to issue an official proclamation for Transgender Day of Visibility, and this was back in 2021. And in his proclamation this year, he said, quote, "Today we send a message to all transgender Americans. You are loved, you are heard, you are understood, you belong. You are America, and my entire administration and I have your back." The Fairfax County Board making a similar proclamation this week.
I'm just very happy that we're recognizing a community that has too often been pushed into the shadows and celebrating yet another community within our diverse tapestry here in Fairfax County.
Okay, so this day actually goes back to 2010. And when President Biden first made this proclamation back in 2021, that year Easter was on April 4th. Except this year, they both happen on the same day, Lisa.
But it's also a random day created by a random person out of Michigan, in the same way that I could declare March 30th is the day of Lisa. The White House also banned religious-themed designs from the White House Easter egg art contest, when the whole point of Easter is to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It is a religious holiday, a religious celebration. To celebrate the day of trans visibility in and of itself is an affront to Christianity, because the Bible says that God made man and he made woman. He made male and female. To say otherwise is to deny the truth, is to deny God's creation. Also,
very well put. Now, just saying, the day of Lisa, that's actually really good. A lot of people got really upset about Biden for got upset towards Biden for what he said. A lot of people have taken to Twitter, good Easter. This post right here shows, Good Friday. What does Google do? Here, let me show you. Boom, nothing. Pride Month. Boom. Google goes all out for Pride Month. And I bring this picture up to show that there is already Pride Month. They already have Pride Month. Now, if we go how we've all been hearing it for so long, LGBTQIASL plus, I know my letters. That T stands for trans. And when Pride Month is celebrated, all those letters are celebrated as well. So if they already have a month, why would they need another day? And why would that day have to be on Easter? Benny Johnson took to Instagram as well, showing what New York City used to look like during Easter. This is what they used to do. Talk about a group, because that gentleman said a group that gets pushed into the shadows. Transgender that group does not get pushed into the shadows. I'm sorry. They're at the forefront of sports right now in the conversation. They're at the forefront of human rights. You know, Dave Chappelle famously said that they just jumped the line right in front of black people when it came to that whole thing of like civil rights and everything. They're not in the shadows whatsoever, not even slightly. Somebody else posted this, actually a comedian friend of mine, Dino Archie. Rent is too high, please help. Joe Biden, say less. And then he declares Transgender Visibility Day. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Another person took here, you know, everyone please, inflation, the economy, we're suffering, which is all very true. And Joe Biden just decides to go, yeah, well, you know, you can have Trans Visibility Day. There you go. Did that fix inflation, everybody? No? Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, that's what Joe Biden's doing on Easter. What is Trump doing on Easter? This is what Trump's doing.
With my very good friend Lee Greenwood, who doesn't love his song, God Bless the USA, in connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible. This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents, yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard, to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this God Bless the USA Bible, and it's just very important and very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul. Many of you have never read them and don't know the liberties and rights you have as Americans and how you are being threatened to lose those rights. It's happening all the time. It's a very sad thing that's going on in our country, but we're going to get it turned around. Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country. And I truly believe that we need to bring them back, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's why our country is going haywire. We've lost religion in our country. All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. It's a lot of people's favorite book. This Bible is a reminder that the biggest thing we have to bring back America and to make America great again is our religion. Religion is so important. It's so missing, but it's going to come back, and it's going to come back strong, just like our country is going to come back strong. In the end, we do not answer to bureaucrats in Washington. We answer to God in heaven. Christians are under siege. We must protect content that is pro-God. We love God, and we have to protect anything that is pro-God. We must defend God in the public square and not allow the media or the left-wing groups to silence, censor, or discriminate against us. We have to bring Christianity back into our lives and back into what will be again a great nation. Our founding fathers did a tremendous thing when they built America on Judeo-Christian values. Now that foundation is under attack, perhaps as never before. What can we do? Stand up, speak out, and pray that God will bless America again. I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible. We must make America pray again.
Now again, a little bit of foreshadowing. Trump seems to do this quite a bit. He did this before Biden announced his Trans Visibility Day. And he said that, you know, Christianity is under siege and everything that you just heard, which I think is all very true. Again, going back to that first gentleman's statement about the trans movement being pushed into the shadows is just not true. You can go to almost any school and see the flag, sometimes above the American flag. And it's happening in Canada as well. I don't know about Europe and if it's happening there, but I know definitely throughout North America, you can see a trans flag, LGBTQIA 4698 plus, 1984. You can see that flag above the actual nation's flag. This is not a group that's been pushed into the shadows. This is a group that's been pushed to the forefront, like incredibly pushed to the forefront. Bud Light, Doritos, Target. Are you kidding me? This is not a group that's been pushed into the shadows. And if anything, it's Christianity that's been pushed into the shadows. And it is under siege. And I just show this again, just to show the example of This is what President Biden thinks is good on Easter. And this is what President Trump thinks is good on Easter. Now, a lot of people gave this flack because he's selling, well, he's not selling it, but he is, his friend is selling the Bible, okay? Lee Greenwood. He's selling this Bible for $60, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, it's Trump, he's selling things, this, that. But it's also a Bible that has the Declaration of Independence, Pledge of Allegiance, all the Constitution, things that you actually should have coupled with your Bible. You should know them. You should really be reading those things. You should understand your Constitution. You should understand. These are documents that you should have on your person. Maybe not on your person, but definitely in your house. And how many of us can say that we actually do? I certainly don't. So when I hear something like this, I'm like, oh, let me grab this. Why not? It's a good thing to have. So giving President Trump flack over something like this, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. And then when it came to the slain officer, believe his name, and I do not want to get this name wrong. You guys know I usually get names wrong. I'm not going to get this name wrong. Rest in peace to Jonathan Diller. He passed away. He passed away during a traffic stop, a routine stop that went completely wrong. And, you know, President Trump was there to pay his respects. You know, again, we talk about him doing things that are more presidential. You know, he's just not presidential enough. I've heard this so many times. Stephen A. Smith and Patrick Bet-David had a long conversation about this. He's talking about, oh, he's not presidential enough.
Hour, loved ones will gather in New York to pay their respects and say farewell to fallen NYPD officer Jonathan Diller. He was shot and killed during a traffic stop earlier this week. The story gaining national attention, with former President Trump attending the officer's wake, highlighting concerns of deadly random violence. Kieran Dillon with our affiliate is live outside the church in Massapequa, New York this morning. Good morning, Kieran. So a procession will soon be underway, is that right?
Hi, good morning, Hannah. Yeah, there's really a profound sense of sadness in the air here in Massapequa on Long Island this morning. And as you can see behind me, already that funeral service is going to be taking place at 10:30 this morning at St. Rose of Lima Roman Catholic Church. But there are hundreds of people here, many of them NYPD officers gathering right now, getting everything set up for when that funeral service begins. We are expecting Jonathan Diller, his wife Stephanie, to be giving a eulogy at this service later today, as well as the mayor and the NYPD commissioner. Officer Diller was killed during a routine traffic stop earlier this week on Monday in Far Rockaway, Queens. 2 suspects have now been charged.
So that's what was going on. Trump made sure to be there. He made sure to speak. Made sure to attend. He made sure to pay his respects.
President Donald Trump attending the wake for slain NYPD officer Jonathan Diller. It happened yesterday. He's calling out the lack of order in this country.
The family is devastated. The police force is devastated. It's happening more and more, and it's really a lack of respect for law and order, and we have to have law and order back in our country, and we're going to. It's getting worse and worse for police because we're not taking care of them. We're not allowing them to do their job properly.
Yep, this as assaults on police officers are increasing, with over 65,000 in 2022. Joining us now is the host of Crime Cam 24/7, back on Fox Nation, and he's back with us, retired Tulsa Police Lieutenant Sean Sticks Larkin. Sean, your reaction, is the president overstating it when he says there's just a lack of respect for police officers, lack of law and order on the streets?
No, it's absolutely spot on. It's something we've seen growing over the last several years. Officer Diller was killed here in New York City. Just here in New York City alone in 2 years, the number of assaults against police officers is almost 25% has increased. In Minnesota, the number of police officers shot at since 2017 compared to 2023 is almost quadrupled. I mean, this is happening across the country, and we've seen this movement where the police are the villains, the police are the bad guys, and it's empowering these criminals that are out on the streets.
So sometimes, do you believe the President of the United States, the current President of the United States, should at least made the call, let alone go out? He could be there, chopper into Farmingdale, Long Island, and chopper back to Radio City.
Absolutely. Listen, the fundraiser he had here in New York City last night obviously was something pre-planned before this officer was murdered. He landed 6 miles away from where this incident happened. It was 30 miles away from where the wakes happened. He was here earlier enough in the day. You make an adjustment to your schedule to pay respect to that officer, to his family, to his profession.
What about the people that say, well, you know, they don't really support him and he didn't know if he'd be welcomed? What do you say to that?
Well, you're the president of the United States. You know, people in office, celebrities and things like that, they speak out when a police officer kills somebody, even before the investigation is even complete, even if it's justifiable. You right away, somebody is speaking out about it. Afford the officer that same thing. You stand up, you speak. I know the press secretary had something to say, but you're the president of the United States. This is the largest city in our country, you know, largest police department in our country. A young cop with 3 years on the department, a 1-year-old child, you need to say something.
It would help. And now, what is your reaction to the about 100,000 people are going to be descending on this town of Massapequa where this...
So that gets to my next point. He wasn't there. Biden wasn't there. Where was he instead? Here.
The Biden campaign tells me that this event last night, the star-studded event held at Radio City Music Hall, was to demonstrate party unity amongst the presidents, but also across the party. They each respective president represents a different part of the Democratic Party, and also it's sort of a throwback, a connection, to the legacy of the popular Obama administration among Democratic donors and Democratic supporters. And just a reminder, though, also, Elaine, you know, $26 million is a staggering amount. It's a historic amount that we have not seen before. And just to compare this to the Trump campaign, the Biden campaign has $71 million cash on hand compared to just $34 million that the Trump campaign has.
Wow, that is really eye-opening to hear those numbers, Finn. So, you know, it's interesting. This was yet another event for President Biden that was interrupted multiple times by pro-Palestinian demonstrators. Finn, how is that movement impacting the president's campaign?
They're not even touching on it. That's where Biden was. He was at a star-studded event with Obama, Bill Clinton, Lizzo was performing. Okay. And they raised $26 million. That's great. Fantastic. It was about $500,000 per seat or something like that. It was some ridiculous thing. But that's where he was while Trump was paying respects to this slain officer. Okay? Just to show like how presidential this is. Here, let's hear a little bit more about this fun event he was at.
New York City, it's a big night tonight. In the Big Apple, it's shaping up to be one of the biggest nights in Democratic politics since President Biden's inauguration. Former Presidents Obama and Clinton will join Biden in New York City for an hours-long fundraiser, including moderated conversations with Stephen Colbert and a lineup of musical performances that include Queen, Latifah, Lizzo, and Ben Platt.
Our friend Jordan Roth.
I love Queen Latifah.
Put that together.
Jordan did that?
Jordan did,
I love it. It means it's gonna be amazing. The massive
I just realized I wasn't recorded. My bad. Sorry. I was just saying I'm tired of people not saying Trump's not presidential enough. While Biden's doing something like this, Trump is at an event like this. And just so you know, it was only 6 miles away, like the gentleman at Fox said. So he could have easily made it, but instead he was focused on Stephen Colbert, Lizzo, and this, you know, ridiculously star-studded event. He could have easily made it over, paid his respects. This happened at 10 a.m. His event wasn't until nighttime. He could have easily attended this, paid his respects, and gone back. It would have looked great, and it would have felt great to the people of New York City, to the police department, to Jonathan Diller's family. So let's hear Trump speak, because he was actually at the funeral.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I want to thank Bruce and all of the people that have worked so hard to make this area beautiful and safe. And this is what happened. Is such a sad event, such a horrible thing, and it's happening all too often. And we're just not going to let it happen. We just can't. 21 times arrested, this thug, and the person in the car with him was arrested many times, and they don't learn because they don't respect. They're not given the respect. The police are the greatest people we have. There's nothing and there's nobody like them, and this should never happen. I just visited with a very beautiful wife that now doesn't have her husband. Stephanie was just incredible. Their child, brand new, beautiful baby, sitting there innocent as can be, and doesn't know how his life has been changed. But the Diller family you'll never be the same. You can never be the same. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it. We have to get back to law and order. We have to do a lot of things differently because this is not working. This is happening too often. It's an honor to be here. And again, I want to just thank all of you folks for allowing this. And Bruce, thank you. Bruce has been a friend of mine for a long time. He's done an incredible job out here. But this is such a sad occasion. The only thing we can say is maybe something is going to be learned. We've got to toughen it up. We've got to strengthen it up. This should never be allowed. Things like this shouldn't take place, and to take place so often. So thank you all for being here. It's an honor, and it's an honor for me to be here. This is a great family, the Diller family. I met the friends, and I met every one of them inside, and these are just incredible people that are just devastated. They're devastated. They've got a tough road. It's going to be a very tough road. So thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, Bruce.
So that's what Trump was doing. That's what Biden was doing. Patrick Bet-David has more to say about this whole Trans Visibility Day. He actually had a pretty heartfelt message to send to everybody. Let's go.
This is why, as of last year, I stopped praying for tolerance because of the things that's taken place by Christians, being way too tolerant with the behavior that's taking place from the White House. Leadership at the top announcing that on Easter Sunday, tomorrow, for many of you that will be going to church to celebrate. You know what you're celebrating? Resurrection. The White House chose to celebrate transgenders. The 0.1% of America, transgenders, who in many cases are going through challenges both mentally and emotionally, but we're wanting to celebrate the 0.1%, not the Christian nation, not the Christian leaders who have done incredible things for this country, and the level of disgrace that this brings to us as a country, to the rest of the world, that our president wrote this and announced this yesterday for Sunday is a spit in the face to many Christians around the nation, and you shouldn't be okay with this, and you ought to stand up for yourself and realize that this is not acceptable. It's time for Christians to stop being so tolerant with this type of behavior. By the way, this isn't a left, right, center thing. This is if you're a Christian and your life, God, comes before your political party, you ought to stand up. If your political party comes before your faith, don't do anything about it. You decide what you value more, how you vote or how you pray. If we get those orders right, the future looks bright. But if we stop fearing God and no longer wanting the favor of God, the future doesn't look as bright as we think it does.
Patrick Bet-David, ladies and gentlemen, he's 100% right. Definitely a spit in the face. And I would say it's even past just being Christian. I would say In Islam, there's many mentions of Jesus. Christianity, even if you're Jewish, to be devout in any religion, and to see a religion get pushed aside, and this trans visibility day get put in place, it's the same thing as everything. It's the same thing as seeing a political opponent get prosecuted just as they're running for election. It's the exact same thing, because it shows you that eventually this could happen to your side, your religion. It's the same thing. Eventually this type of thinking, whatever Biden was thinking when he did this, will come for you and what you believe in. So I think everybody should kind of be a little upset about this, So I don't know. That's just me. I see how the border is. That seems like a spit in the face. People are allowed to just come in, pour in. Should be a spit in the face to people who came in legally, who have been working hard and are trying to get green cards and citizenships and doing everything that they have to do. They see people just pouring in. That should be a spit in the face. Those people are now occupying jobs, hotels, getting money. New York City paying $53 million. That should be a spit in the face. Another one to New York City, of course. You see that with the border. You're seeing that with this day that's been claimed as Trans Visibility Day. You're seeing it in the economy. It's just multiple, just spits in the face constantly. This administration doesn't seem to really care about people, about the citizens. They care about some people from other places, but they don't seem to care about the citizens who are hardworking and are doing things legally. They don't seem to care about those people. So, I don't know. I would just take that into consideration the next time you're having a conversation about who's more presidential. It's not always about what you do on Twitter. It's not always about how inclusive somebody seems. It's more about the policies put in place and what they do when somebody has passed away, what they do when holidays come up, how respectful they are in those times. I think that's the real mark of a president. Just saying. And other than that, I'm out. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I'm out of here.